Welcome into the program, folks. Thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully, it'll be a beautiful show, and Montgomery needs a new mayor. Do you agree? Now, I got a letter in the mail from who's becoming at least my pen pal. Well, he'll write me things, and then I'll respond to him on the radio. But Jerry handwrote me, because his email doesn't work well where he is currently at. And he wrote this long, beautiful letter about faith, and then talking about how he doesn't think the Shroud of Turin is the actual real shroud, and all very fascinating, great points Jerry's making. But he said this, and I just want to read this if Jerry's okay with it. One last thing. I would pray that God would bring you a wife, but I don't like to pray curses on anyone. Just kidding. Anyway, that made me laugh out loud today, Jerry. Thank you, man, and God bless. Let's go to the phones and talk to Erica Thomas with 1819 News to kick things off. Hey, Erica, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, I'm doing great. Feeling happy for the weekend coming up and looking forward to some fishing.
So, some fishing. What's on the agenda with the fishing?
Well, this weekend I have family coming in from the Birmingham area, and we're going to go deep sea fishing bright and early Saturday morning. So I'm really excited to do that. I hadn't done that since I was a kid. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't get seasick.
Yeah, it's been a little while for me since I've gone and done that. And I think the last time I was seasick, but it doesn't help that I drank too much the night before. So don't do that.
No worries. I might have too much sweet tea, though. Have to get going that morning.
Now, the story I want to start with is not wholesome, but it's a continuation because earlier this week I saw trending a story you did a while back about this spa owner that became an OnlyFans model or whatever.
Yes.
And now they're back in the news, though, properly. And it's essentially it's a request. She's already out, posted bond over $1 million, but she's requesting to be able to travel out of the state for a quote unquote professional development summit. Is that what the kids are calling it now?
I reckon so. And this is more than just an OnlyFans model. She's on several porn websites. Her name is Whitney Cheatham, and she was the Coleman spa owner. She was arrested I want to say last year, and I wish I had that date on the top of my head, but I just don't. But she was arrested and charged with, 20 charges: drug trafficking, unlawful distribution of a controlled substance, conspiracy, just all kinds of charges. And this this had nothing to do with her OnlyFans and her porn website job. I believe she started doing that after she was arrested.
Yeah.
This had to do with some things that were being sold. We are led to believe outside of the Infusion Wellness Spa that she owned. Now, her father and her husband at the time, they were also charged with criminal conspiracy to commit a controlled substance crime and fraud. And one of Cheatham's charges was practicing medicine without a license. So it looks like she was using this spa kind of as a way to sell illegal substances. And We're not sure exactly what those are. But the latest is she is asking to go to Nashville to travel to this summit. Well, prosecutors are saying there's no such thing as this summit. That's not what she's doing. She's going to film more content for her OnlyFans and porn pages.
My God, man. What world I was just having a conversation before I came on air with somebody. I'm like, what is this world we live in? It is not a godly world. I'm just realizing it more and more, and I'm not one to judge. Let's just say I am guilty in a lot of ways, a lot of stuff over the years, but I see it all now, and I'm like, this is though I wasn't surprised when you get arrested for all this trafficking and essentially outright fraud. What do you do to make a quick $1 million? Well, you take your clothes off and you do the nasty with people publicly for money.
So some do, yeah. I mean, I don't want to judge either, but at the same time, is this a good look for she's out on bond? Like, is this a good look as far as the judge is concerned? I can just only imagine her attorneys, how worried they are about how this is going to look in all of her online activities, how those look. I've reached out to her attorneys. I hadn't heard from them, but I would say if I was representing her, I would say, you really need to straighten your act up, like do everything, be a model citizen, not an OnlyFans model for just a little bit till we can get you through this. Because we have to remember, too, innocent until proven guilty. This could have been something that someone else was responsible for. We just don't know. But like I said, I believe if you're out on bond for such serious charges, you should probably try to act like you have at least heard of Jesus before, especially in God's country. This is Coleman.
Well, and also, I can't get over the fact that her last name is literally Cheatham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some people with that last name who are upstanding, godly folks, but come on. A lady by the name of Cheatham was defrauding people? Get out of town. Allegedly, get out of town.
You would point that out, Joey. I mean, you're always there with that news eye. It always comes in at the correct time, too.
My name is destiny sometimes, Erica.
That's why you're great for the radio. I will say, I just looked this case up. I'll have an update on that case at 2:00 on 1819news.com. So go check that out, and we'll let you know what the judge decided about this bond.
Now you have another crime story here. This is in Daphne, and it involves a child, not in the most heinous way, but a pretty bad way. A child was potentially in danger after handling a drug-covered dollar bill.
Yeah. So we always hear about these things, but a lot of times the stories end up being fake. A kid overdosed on fentanyl after picking up a $1 bill. A lot of times that stuff's fake, but in this situation, this is real. And this is a real warning about, finding money somewhere, just to be very vigilant, especially if you have children. Don't let them pick up stuff just randomly in public places. But this child, not sure how old the child is, but they were in Daphne and picked up this dollar bill that they found at a local business. And all of a sudden, the guardian realized that there was some white powdery substance on the child's hands.
Oh, my.
So they contacted authorities. Yeah. I mean, apparently this dollar bill was just covered. It ended up being methamphetamine. The good news is the child did not get sick. As far as we know, they were medically evaluated, and they said the child was unharmed. So that's really good news. If that would have been fentanyl, it could have been a whole different story. We could have been covering, the death of a child.
Yeah, well, thank God it's all right. It's just you never know. Like, again, in this fallen world, you never know. Now, I want to go away from some of the crime because you know how much this stuff depresses me, but I do see a few pretty awesome stories. Well, one is, I used to do some drinking and some cussing and fussing down there at the Floribama when I'd visit my dad on the coast, and they're hosting a celebration for the life of the owner who's recently passed away, Pat McClellan.
Yes, this is going to be a great celebration on Sunday. He passed away last week, and one of the stories I have on him is really neat because I interviewed him a couple of years ago, and I went back and found the audio from that interview. And one of the things I asked him about was his legacy at Floribama, and so he talked to me about the legacy that he wants to leave behind, and really he succeeded in that by far. But Pat McClellan is one of the owners of Floribama. He passed away July 22nd. He was 77 years old. His family is going to have a private event for a funeral for him, But then on Sunday from 3 to 6, Floribama is going to hold that celebration of life for sweet Pat McClellan. He's really just as iconic as the Floribama itself. I mean, he's the one that came up with mullet toss, the polar bear dip. He did all these iconic events. And then if you know his backstory, it's really neat, too. He was a U.S. Navy veteran, and then he moved down to, I believe he first moved from Minnesota to Florida. But he was working in Pensacola for a long time as a bartender, and he just kind of worked his way up. He started in Pensacola, the Mardi Gras events that they have, and then he became part owner of Floribama in 1984. I wasn't even born yet in 1984.
Likewise.
I mean, that is so neat. He has really made Floribama what it is today. You know, it used to be just some hole-in-the-wall shack, basically, which it still is a shack, but it's a huge shack now, and everybody knows what Floribama is. But at that time, it was just a little liquor store off the side of the road. And when he became part owner with John Gilchrist, those two owned it at first. And Gilchrist has already passed away as well, so hopefully they're having some big old shindig in heaven right about now.
Amen.
But yeah, he was a huge part of making Floribama what it is. I would say without Pat McClellan, Floribama might not even be there today.
Yeah, and it's good for everybody to get together at that very institution and celebrate that life and that legacy. And yeah, I think if you like to have any sort of fun at all in Alabama, you've probably been to the Floribama at least once.
Yeah. I mean, all my friends always that's where they want to go when they come down, you know. I'm like, we're too old for this, gals, but we always rally. I mean, we will rally one good time. It's like that Toby Keith song, you know, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. That's us when we go to Floribama. We still got it for a minute. It's not quite as late as it used to be, but you know, this is what Pat McClellan would want. He would want all of us to enjoy that space. It's a space where people can come from all over, no matter what walk of life you're from, no matter what your political beliefs are. You leave all of that at the door. When you go into Floribama, you're just having a good old time, enjoying amazing live music. And they have all kinds of drink specials. It's just a fun time. You really feel like family when you're in there with whoever you might meet. Especially if you drink a lot, you probably feel more like family than you would otherwise.
Oh, there you go. Or you might become family. Who knows? Again, folks, we're talking to Erica Thomas, 1819 News. Another story, Shelby County black bear sightings are ramping up in the summer months. And, I just seem to be, without even looking for them, there are more black bear stories just in general across the state. They seem to be on the move.
They are on the move, and that's what's interesting. Now, the ones in Shelby County have really made a lot of noise on social media. There's one in particular, black bear, that they're calling Shelby. And it's so funny because all the local businesses have used AI to have, like, Shelby the bear in front of their florist or at their law office.
I'm looking at it.
Even, that's funny. Even Chelsea High School did a post right before school started back and said, "We're excited to announce Shelby is enrolled at school." So, and then it has Shelby, like, in a football jersey. It's hilarious. So they really taking advantage of this as businesses. It's really smart to do that, by the way. I learned about a lot of businesses on Facebook just looking up Shelby the bear. So way to go to all those marketing business owners. But it's interesting because the Alabama State Park said that it's true. They are on the move right now. They're moving on through Alabama, so don't be surprised when you see one. I would be surprised either way if I saw one. You know, we've known black bears are here. It's not a secret. But to see them out and about, it is really interesting, and it's a fun photo opportunity. But they say there's some things you have to do when you see one. You know, back away slowly. Don't freak out. Don't turn your back. Make sure you don't close in a bear. They will panic, and no telling what could happen.
Wait, you literally shouldn't back a bear into a corner?
That's true. Don't back the bear into a corner. Also, they say make yourself big. I think I would have a really hard time with this one because kind of short, but make yourself big, and be obvious. And the funny one to me is it says identify yourself. Hello, Mr. Bear. I'm Erica Thomas. It says speak calmly in a low, firm voice so the bear recognizes you as a human and not prey. That was a funny one to me.
Yeah. Joey Clark, damn glad to meet you, Bear.
Yeah. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying cool this summer. It's hot. It's so hot.
It is.
Man, it's really hot down here, too. And we've even had black bear sightings in Baldwin and Mobile counties.
And also, advice is do not run.
Yes, definitely do not run. I mean, if you do that, they can come after you. They, because their instinct is to chase prey. So if you start running, they're going to think you are prey, and you don't want that to happen.
Goodness gracious. Well, I think that's a good note to end on, Erica. But though I've encouraged folks, we've only scratched the surface. There are a bunch of stories she has up, especially on the crime beat. If folks want to check out your work or maybe want to send something to you might want to look into, how can they do so?
You can go to 1819news.com, and you can email me, erica.thomas@1819news.com. Let me know what you're thinking.
Well, and have fun fishing.
Thank you so much. I will. God bless, Joey.
God bless, Erica. Erica Thomas with 1819 News, folks. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or sell property, be a house, land here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for about a little over half a century now. And that means he's got the experience. He's seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly in this market. And not only can he help you with buying and selling here in the River Region real estate market, at the Goodson Group, they can also have that rental managed for you. Essentially, they have great management services. Say you want to rent out your home, great idea in this market. Why not, for a reasonable fee, have a professional company manage that property for you? So check them out today. You can always learn more at thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call direct at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Let's see who we got on line 2. You're on there. Who's us?
Hey, Joey. It's Rack on Tour. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing well. Hey, just talking about the bear sightings, there's a quick rule of thumb for anyone who finds themselves in bear country, especially out west. And that rule of thumb is if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back.
Okay.
Of course, you want to give the bear its space, and if it will leave on its own, let it. Don't try to force it or corner it. But if it does come at you like it's going to attack, with a black bear, you want to fight back and make it realize you're not an easy prey. You want to make yourself as big as possible, yell, scream, throw rocks, whatever. Typically, they'll run away. They're more timid than the brown grizzly, who just looks at that as a little harder effort for lunch.
Yeah, well, with the grizzly, you're right. You lay down and you pray to God.
Yeah.
Like, good luck. I've heard some crazy stories. I've never seen anything like that in person. I don't put myself in those situations, but you hear some stories of big brown bears, and it's harrowing, man. Like that's when you find out pretty quick. Like we used to be lower on the food chain.
Absolutely, and with grizzlies, we still are.
Yeah. Well, we got an equalizer if you got a weapon or something. But how many people got that big of a weapon they're toting around?
Well, and that's just it. Sometimes you've got just enough weapon to make him mad. You're talking about a 900-pound grizzly bear coming at you. There's not a lot you can do other than say grace over his meal.
Now, aren't there some madmen, though, out there that go, like, bear hunting with a bow?
I've never encountered them, and there's probably a reason why. I do know people that do hunt bears. I lived in Montana for a while. And, you're wanting to make sure you got a pretty hefty rifle with a heavy grain bullet before you go bear hunting. And even then, you're carrying secondary measures like bear spray and everything else that you can think of.
Well, why do you have so much experience? Like, you ever run into a bear yourself?
and just chance encounters in the Smoky Mountains when you're driving, but no major like life-threatening story to tell. I just talk to a lot of people who, and living in bear country, you learn to heed the advice of the locals.
You ever eat a bear? Sorry for all the questions.
No, bear's actually pretty good. Does
Yeah.
not taste like chicken, unfortunately, like everything else does. It's got a little meatier, kind of. I would compare it more to bison, a little more meaty, musky elk type.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've had elk before and bison. But
Yeah, so
yeah, okay.
I would
That's
compare it more to that than I would chicken.
everybody says that's so much healthier, but I'm sorry, like a really good USDA prime ribeye is kind of hard to beat.
Well, I'm an equal opportunity lover. I'll eat anything you put in front of me that it's slow enough to get a fork in.
There you go. There you go. Well, I appreciate you calling up, man. I appreciate it
Yeah,
as
man.
always.
Have a good one.
You too. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, this is Congressman Palmer, Joey.
Oh, hi. How are you, sir?
I'm early.
And I'm forgot. I'm by myself, so I don't have a call screener here. But well, how are you? Like, how's life? How's Washington D.C. treating you?
Well, they're working me like a rented mule, but I think we've gotten a lot done in these first 2 years of the Trump administration, and there's a lot more to do. We're very focused and trying to get it done.
And again, folks, this is Congressman Gary Palmer. This was planned. It's just that I'm flying solo today. But one thing I really wanted to pick your brain on is just this general turnover you're seeing in the Democratic Party, what it might mean for the midterms, but generally for a country down the road. And here's where I'm coming from. I think Donald Trump fundamentally and in some good ways changed the Republican Party. There's still, you were a Republican before the Trump movement, but I'd imagine you've seen that change, and it was a hostile takeover in many ways. And I'd imagine for all the folks that want to put the socialist away on the Democrat side, like say a James Carville type, I'm wondering if the socialists are going to do to the Democratic Party what Trump was able to do to the Republican Party.
I don't know that they could win a national election, but what they can do, and what I think they're going to do already, is they're going to determine the leadership for the Democratic Party in the House and possibly in the Senate, but most definitely in the House. And that's huge. They'll combine with the squad, and I believe that Republicans are going to hold the majority in the House. It's absolutely critical that we do, because if we don't, you could have AOC as Speaker of the House. You could have someone like Rashida Tlaib as the majority leader, and Ilhan Omar chairing a committee. She could be chairing the Judiciary Committee or something like that. I don't know, but they will be the ones in leadership, because the margins are so tight, they can't, they wouldn't be able to elect a speaker without them. Now, I think that just your basic liberal, socialist leaning Democrat is scared to death of them. And I think there's some of these guys that are like John Fetterman, that just maybe one or two more of these elections away from switching to independent, or possibly even trying to come over to our side of the aisle, because they're crazy.
Yeah, and some of the ideas are over the top, but it's not the over the top ones that bother me. And you got to remember, I was in libertarian circles. When you're just a radio producer, you can kind of believe whatever. So I've heard, and I myself have said over the top things over the years. So when I see like abolish the Senate and abolish the Pentagon, these sorts of things, I'm like, yeah. The ones that make me worried are the folks that pretend to be moderate, and they're actually convincing at it. I don't know. It just seems like they have a lot more power. And let's just be honest, the corporate media, as it once existed as gatekeepers, They still try their level best, but it's not quite as strong as they used to be.
Yeah, what I think you're right. I don't think they're going to abolish the presidency or the Senate, but I do think they would expand the Supreme Court because the Constitution does not prescribe the number of justices. It could be they want to take it to 13, which means they would appoint 4 and give themselves a liberal majority on the Supreme Court. Franklin Delano Roosevelt wanted to take it to 15, and Congress, even though it was the Democrat majorities in both houses, they stopped it. The other thing they could do is statehood for Puerto Rico. I'm not sure they can do statehood for the District of Columbia. I've got my staff looking into this because the district is prescribed in the Constitution and limited to 10 square miles. And it's not like a territory. It's not like a state. So I'm not sure they could make the District of Columbia a state. We could give part of it back to Maryland and just have the federal area as the District of Columbia. But even there, it would not be the 10 square miles prescribed. It might not be the 10 square miles prescribed by the Constitution. So but the things that worry me is what they do on taxes, what they try to do in education, how they would impact fundamental rights of the states related to, owning firearms and things like that. That's where we're heading, and you see how these young folks in these urban areas, these supposedly elite educated people are flocking to these folks, and it just tells you what a horrible job our education system's done of preparing young people to respect and appreciate, even love our country.
Yeah, and it's a shame. Everything you just laid out there, and I agree that they'll do that. Even the so-called moderate, say like a Pete Buttigieg, wants to expand the Supreme Court. And then the other day I was talking about Buttigieg's positions on abortion, saying men are more free when abortion's legal, which is just astounding, evil thing to say.
Yeah.
But I think the reason they're going for like these power structural changes is they've kind of lost the argument. If you straight up say, I want to do this with healthcare, do this with education, do this with foreign policy, they don't seem to be winning the argument. They want to more rage against Trump and whatever Trump stands for in their minds, and then sort of expand their power so they don't have to have an argument anymore about these issues. They can just do it. And folks better believe, say, on something like abortion, if you get 15 members of the Supreme Court, they're immediately going to go back to the old Roe model. In fact, maybe even make it a more stronger sort of allowance.
Well, it'd be that, and transitional surgeries for kids, transgender surgeries for kids, that kind of stuff. They're really off the rails. But this is what everybody needs to understand about how important this election is if the Republicans can hold the majorities in both houses, in both House and Senate, and win the presidency in 28, I think it will be a generational change, because in 2030, all of the congressional districts will be redrawn. And one of the reasons that our majority is so small, a lot of people forget this whole redistricting war began in New York and California after the 2020 election. In 2022, after the 22 election, and between that and the 24 election, New York basically eliminated 5 Republican seats in New York State. Illinois eliminated 1, and they had already eliminated 2 ahead of that through redistricting. So if we can get back to drawing districts that are more representative of the country, I think the Republicans could hold a majority for a long, long time. The California redistricting, they've done that twice. Between 22 and 24, they eliminated 3 or 4 seats there, and now they're trying to eliminate 4 more. So there's so much at stake right now, and so critical. I'm just hoping that people will get up on election day and decide they're going to the polls and they're going to vote.
And let's just remind folks, we've on this show really been focused on this brand new District 2. A lot of folks trying to get up from the southern part of the state. But you also have a special primary election that is on August the 11th.
Yeah, and it's going to impact people in the northern part of Elmore County, Coosa County, Autauga. A lot of your radio audience, I currently have the privilege of representing, and I hope that they'll get up and go vote so I can keep representing them.
Yes, sir. And again, that's August the 11th, folks. And I keep
Yep.
saying that almost every day. But I don't know. The turnout numbers are going to be fascinating in such an odd time to hold an election.
Yeah, it's also the day school starts back for a lot of schools. So we're hoping that the parents will get up early, take their kid with them to vote, and take them to school so the kids can talk about how they participated in an election. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be.
And that's a lot of times that's how it starts with people's involvement as a parent thought enough of voting and the privilege of voting that they got up and went and voted and took their children with them.
Now, you mentioned as we were talking that you think the Republican Party's going to keep the majority in the House. I mean, I've been kind of going with the conventional wisdom of the party out of power tends to take back the House, but you think with the redistricting as well as the issues like the socialism we've been talking about, that the GOP is going to hold on to this?
I think so. The redistricting really works in our favor. California and Texas, what they did, they're going to kind of be a wash. But Florida did redistricting, and that's really going to help. I think we've got a chance to pick up a seat here in Alabama. We have a chance to pick up a seat in Tennessee. I'm pretty confident that we will. North Carolina, Missouri, Louisiana. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. The courts stopped the redistricting effort in Virginia, and they didn't do it in New York. So again, this is going to be an extremely important election. The other thing, though, Joey, I don't know if you follow the Cook Political Report, but they're pretty good, and they have Republicans holding pretty much 204 seats. 214 seats.
Okay.
And the Democrats holding 204. And they say there's 18 seats that really are going to decide this. The Democrats would have to win 15 of them. We have to win 4. So I think if that's the scenario that plays out, I think we'll be okay. And everybody's focused on Michigan and El Sayed getting the nomination for the Senate, Democratic nomination for the Senate race there. But there's a House seat that we flipped in the last election. The Republican's name is Tom Barrett. His opponent is one of these Democrat Socialists of America candidates who campaigned with El Sayed and is, again, just nuts. And I think that really helps us. Same thing out in Colorado. Gabe Evans is a freshman member of Congress. He flipped the Democrat seat last election. And his opponent's one of these Democrat Socialist candidates. And that's not an urban district. It's more suburban. And I think that improves our chances of holding that seat. And Gabe and Barrett both have been outstanding members.
Now, I'd wonder, especially in those battlegrounds, how some of these issues are going to come to bear. But first, I get to say the war and gas prices and those sort of kitchen table issues, like how much everything costs. Where are things on the SAVE Act? And I know you've been coming up with some great ideas, and I think the House is more than happy to do their job on this. But what are you hearing across town, or at least across the building there in the Senate?
Well, I talked to Senator Britt. I talked to Katie, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, and I think they're going to vote tomorrow. And I've been on your show several times talking about how we need to do this through reconciliation. And I actually think we should have done it in the reconciliation bill prior to this, the one that funded ICE and the Border Patrol, our funded Homeland Security. But they finally they're finally doing what I asked them to do, put it in the reconciliation bill, and we passed it in the House. I really don't understand what's holding Thune back and why he could be a lot tougher with some of these senators than he has been to get this over. And we just need 50 votes. We don't need, he could lose 3 Republicans because Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance would come over and cast the tie-breaking vote. And Katie thinks they're going to try to vote tomorrow morning. I've also heard that they may just take out one provision, requirement for voter identification, and put it in the bill that bans stock trading by members of Congress. And I don't know if that's their way of killing the stock trading ban, but treat it like a poison pill, or if they actually think that they can get that part passed. But why they would just do that and not put in the provision to require proof of citizenship, I just don't get it. This is so straightforward. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but California, 1.3 million people in California signed a petition to get a referendum initiative on the ballot this November to require proof of citizenship and a voter ID to vote in California.
Wow.
That's on the ballot. The Democrats trying to kill it. When we go off here, I'll send you something that kind of tells you what's going on with the California Attorney General and how how they've tried to write the language on the ballot initiative to confuse people. But not only California, Nevada has a similar proposal on their ballot this November. So we're going to get there eventually, but I just think Thune could be a lot tougher, Joey, and he needs to get past arm twists and start breaking a few.
Amen. And, folks could say, well, Joey was just criticizing Democrats for doing structural things that help them, win and hold power. And I'm like, well, I think it would accrue to the benefit of Republicans if he had voter ID and proof of citizenship across the nation. But that's more an indictment of the Democrats, especially when this is an 80-20 issue. It's an actual popular issue that reflects the will of the people.
It's popular among Republicans, among Democrats, among minorities, across the board. The majority supports this. And it's not necessarily about Republicans. I know a lot of people think this is going to be a huge advantage for Republicans, but think about what they're saying, Joey. They're saying that it's an advantage to the Republicans if the Democrats can't steal elections. Right. How stupid is that?
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah. This is where again the frustration with Thune and let me move real quick before we run out of time. The other one where it does feel like it's Groundhog Day, Save America Act, and then we're bombing Iran. No, we're talking to Iran. We're back and forth. I mean, what are you hearing on this war? Because we're dragging into the 5th month, I believe. I just filled up the gas tank the other day. It is high. What are you hearing?
Well, I'm how closely I work with the president, and I think he is a historic figure in American history as a president, but I just don't understand why he's trying to negotiate with people who don't have our values, whose objectives are not only totally different, but just homicidal. Their objectives are world domination, and that's why they want nuclear weapons. And I don't think you can negotiate with people like that. He's transactional. He sees the value of people, sees the value of infrastructure, things like that. He doesn't want to kill people and destroy infrastructure. And rational people would think that way too. But these are not rational people. And I'm hoping that something's being done during all these pauses to equip the Persian majority in Iran to take over the country and take control of the government. Because they're not nuts like this particular group that's running the country. But on the gas price thing, I just saw this. I got a new laptop, and I was going through some old documents that I'd saved. Some of them go back to when I worked for Alabama Policy Institute when I was running a think tank.
Hmm.
And I found an article from AL.com from March of 2022. Gas prices hit a record high in Alabama, $4.35 a gallon. I just drove by a Shell station coming to the office, and gas was $3.33. It was a full $1 more under Biden than it is now, and we weren't in a war with Iran or anybody else. The Biden administration was in a war against fossil fuels. It actually hit $5.02 a gallon for unleaded regular during around the summer of 2022 on a national average. I don't think it got that high in Alabama, but people just need to remember what life was like under Biden. Borders were wide open. Illegals were flooding in here literally by the hundreds of thousands, millions over those 4 years. We had 9%, a little over 9% inflation. We're at 3, and they're projecting 3.5% for this year. I mean, almost a third less. So, and I can assure you that if we allow the Democrats to take the majorities and they were to take the White House back, the borders would be open and gas prices still be high. Regulations would be rained down on us like a cascade, and gas prices and food prices would still be high, and nobody would be able to afford their health care. It's just, we opened this. And I think in these 2 years we've done a pretty good job with the One Big Beautiful Bill, with the deregulation. It just takes time for what we've done to catch up to the overall economy and to the price of things.
Yeah, and I also feel like there was a bit of around the 4th of July, as people say, a vibe shift, where things, to me, a lot better than 2025, at least in my humble opinion. And I think I don't know, things are looking up, especially like when I see even stuff that isn't explicitly political. I saw a tweet from Bridget Fedesi, pretty fun commentator online. She said, "America had a phenomenal summer, a World Cup, a 250th birthday, iconic images, movies are back, highest day of traveling in the history of travel, a UFC fight on the White House lawn. Why are we all complaining?"
Yeah. Well, it's that old saying, "What have you done for me lately?" And that applies from everything from college football coach to politics. Is we have short memories. And I'm not saying that things are just great right now, but they're better than they were, and they're going to get a lot better. We've just got to hold the line, and we need people to be willing to get up on election day, get up early and go vote early, or come home from work and go, instead of going home, go straight to the polls and get in line and cast a vote for the future of this country.
Folks, August 11th.
It's important.
It is important. And again, it's August the 11th, a special primary election after the redistricting. And so Northern Elmore County, a lot of folks who can hear us talking right now over the radio airwaves, get out there and do your duty on this August the 11th.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that gets lost in all this is some of the stuff that the Trump administration's doing, and that I've been working hand in glove with them, is securing our supply chain of critical minerals and rare earth elements, which if we don't do this and China were to cut us off, our entire economy would collapse. And this administration has done a fabulous job of doing that. It's a national security issue. But there were 54 million senior citizens, many of them may be listening to your show today, who didn't have to pay any income tax on their Social Security income. There are people working restaurants and hotels and places that didn't have to pay tax on their tip income, and there are a lot of blue-collar workers who earned overtime, the first $12,500 of which they didn't have to pay any income tax on it. We got a Rural Health Transformation Fund that's going to be huge for rural Alabama. As a matter of fact, I'm working with Tuberville to help put together plans for how that's going to be implemented in Alabama. So there's a lot of good stuff that we've done. We just need to remind people, and hopefully people will say, yeah, things can get better.
Hear, hear. Well, I always appreciate your time, Congressman, and well, best of luck on August the 11th. I think you'll do all right. And I look forward to seeing it in person if you're ever in this area. I'd love to have you in studio for extended period like before.
Well, I'd be happy to do that, and if you don't have a call screener, I can do that too.
I just let anybody who calls in on, but this time it happened to be a congressman of the United States. I always appreciate it, Gary. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, Joey.
Again, Congressman Gary Palmer, folks. Really always do appreciate his time. This part of the program brought to you by Cole Plumbing, and there at Cole Plumbing, they're ready to help you with big jobs, small jobs. Maybe you got a big problem, like something's really broke, like a water tank or a massive leak. God forbid, something like a gas line leak. They can help you with all of that. But it could be more like the toilet just won't stop running, or the faucet won't stop dripping, or it could be you don't have an issue at all. You just want to upgrade nicer things like a taller toilet, or add new accessories to the bathroom or the kitchen. They can help you across the board. Like I said, they're at Cole Plumbing with any and all of your plumbing issues. So just check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com and make an appointment there. But I say save their number, 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What are you getting? Still deciding, but I do know on August 11th, I'm choosing Rhett Marcus for Congress.
Why Rhett Marcus?
Because he's a true conservative, endorsed by President Trump and Senator Katie Britt.
Oh, then you can trust him.
And he's a small business owner, not a politician.
Sounds like this choice on August 11th is the easiest decision we'll ever make.
Remember to vote on August 11th. I'm Rhett Marcus, the Trump-endorsed candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rhett for Alabama.
WAKA, Blue Water Broadcasting, Ty and Doll Incorporated, and Piggly Wiggly Food for Less invite you to help us stuff the truck on Saturday, August 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sturbridge Piggly Wiggly Food for Less. Donate non-perishable food, classroom supplies, or cash to help local students facing food insecurity and support our teachers. Visit WAKA.com for a shopping list and stop by our community resource fair for valuable services and information for River Region families. Together, we can stuff the truck and strengthen our community.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, serving veterans isn't a marketing slogan. It's personal. Every employee at Alabama Home Mortgage is either the child of a veteran or the spouse of one. We understand what it means to serve, to sacrifice, and to put others first. We're deeply thankful for the trust so many veterans have placed in us over the years, but we're not done yet because there are still far too many veterans who haven't taken advantage of the VA home loan benefits they've earned. Yes, parts of the VA system are broken, but the VA mortgage is not. It remains one of the strongest home financing options available, offering benefits like no down payment for purchases and 100% cash out refinance. You earned this benefit. From our military families to yours, thank you. It is our honor to serve you. Give us a call today at Alabama Home Mortgage, 334-567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Truckers, listen up. A $2,500 sign-on bonus only at Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Work for a company that puts God and family first. 855-777-9785. Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Not much change in our forecast, except the numbers are starting to go up again. Today, mostly sunny with a high temperature up to about 94 and the heat index between 100 and 105. Low tonight down to about 74. And I think we'll be near 94 again tomorrow and also on Saturday with those routine rain chances, scattered random hit or miss, afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms for a few towns. But you know the deal. Many towns get skipped, and not much change in the forecast on Sunday either. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Back to school shopping starts now, and ASC Credit Union has you covered. Our back to school loan helps you pay for supplies, laptops, clothes, and more. Stop by your local ASC branch or apply today at yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
News happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
You're listening to Joey Clark.
Let's go to Miss Love. Hey, Miss Love, how you doing?
Oh, well, I'm not the only one in my situation. I just found out. After I bought the house I live in, that I am sitting on a septic tank.
You're sitting on it. Your property is sitting on a septic tank?
Yes.
Oh.
And somebody told me I'm not the only one here in Montgomery, Alabama. Joey, I have went from wearing a 20-something down to wearing almost a 12. And this house should not have been sold. Whatever the other person held, if it's on a septic tank, it should not have been sold to us. Okay, I hope our representative do something about this. Okay.
Well, and are you and everybody else affected going to join together and bring somebody to court about this?
I don't know the other people, but we wouldn't mind having a God-fearing lawyer to help us.
And you just found this out.
Same thing happened when I went to the library, Governor Square. People was in there. This lady, we didn't know each other, and I both got pepper sprayed. When the police did show up, one of them said to me and laughed about it. And, you know, I called y'all show and said they need to get security in every library in Montgomery, Alabama. Okay, I saw in my phone one day that it had happened in another, not Montgomery, but another county. Those people helped those people. Montgomery County didn't help me. I don't know the other lady, you know, but I filled out everything they told me to fill out. I found something. But Joey, God is dead. So I wish somebody did know more of these people, you know. So maybe somebody could help us.
Yeah, I would start by getting to know those neighbors and everybody affected and seeing what y'all can do together.
Thank you.
All right. God
I
bless.
appreciate it. Have a blessed one.
You too. That's unfortunate. Anyway, I got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A Senate committee votes along party lines in favor of holding former NIH Director Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress for refusing to testify about the origins of the COVID virus. This follows Fauci refusing to answer any questions, invoking the Fifth Amendment 111 times. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine is at more oil facilities deep inside Russia. The attack's part of Kyiv's effort to undermine Moscow's wartime economy. Ukrainian forces targeted refineries in Bashkortostan and the Yaroslavo region. They also hit Russian military patrol boats in the Black Sea. President Trump's administration planning to overhaul Head Start, a key early education program. It would encourage more local decision-making. This is SRN News.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from Big Wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings
Rich Thomas weather is brought to you by Victoryland. Giveaways galore all summer long. Diamond Days Diamond Jewelry Giveaway and TV Tuesdays TV Giveaway with $185,000 in free play at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Not much change in our forecast, except the numbers are starting to go up again. Today, mostly sunny with a high temperature up to about 94 and the heat index between 100 and 105. Low tonight down to about 74. And I think we'll be near 94 again tomorrow and also on Saturday with those routine rain chances, scattered random hit or miss, afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms for a few towns. But you know the deal. Many towns get skipped, and not much change in the forecast on Sunday either. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist. That's right, man. And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA? Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat. MARGA? Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again. I see. And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest, the asset preservationist. That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE. And I understand that's a toll-free number. Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again. And you make these hats? I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration. And they say CPWABD. Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude. And as you said, there's a whole pile here. Well, there wasn't much demand. I can dig it.
In August, buy any large pizza at Pizza Perfect and get any medium pizza for just $2. Pizza Perfect's buffet includes pizza as well as spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink for only $13. $12 for seniors, first responders, and military. The buffet is available Monday through Saturday for lunch and for dinner on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Pizza Perfect is also available for pickup and delivery. Any medium pizza is just $2 with the purchase of a large at Pizza Perfect on Coliseum Boulevard in Eastbrook.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
From weddings and concerts to cookouts and construction sites, TT Porta Toilets has been serving Central Alabama for over 30 years. Whether you need standard portable toilets with wash stations or upscale restroom trailers for special events, the Tierce family has the right solution for every occasion. So when you're planning your next big event or project, make it easy on yourself. Call 285-5513 or visit ttportatoilet.com. TT Porta Toilets. Clean, convenient, dependable.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You're listening to Joey Clark. Warm sound, clear sound, right here with Joey Clark. It's Joey Clark. Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Second hour of the program, and we're going to kick things off with a call from Duke, who's been very patiently waiting. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
Joe, how you feel?
I feel good. Been making new friends. Like, yeah, life's good, man.
All right, then. I got a question for you off the bat here. When does a politician becomes a politician?
When does a politician become a politician?
They always say that, you know, when they get their dream job, you know, being on the Senate or whatever, they always say, he's not a politician. He's not a politician. She's not a politician.
I mean, I think technically
the rest of them are politicians.
There's a few ways you could cut this. I mean, as soon as you run for office, you're a politician. But, I mean, there's also, I've only heard rumor of this, and this might just be a rude thing to say, but I think there's something to do with, like, once you get sworn in, there's, like, behind the scenes a goat sacrificed or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But,
kind of like pledging, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it's like you could be, I got elected, but I didn't sacrifice. I did nothing with the blood of a goat. Duke, I did nothing. And there we go. You're president, sir. We know you did.
You got a police officer, you know, he's a rookie, but he's still a what? Police officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go in as a Marine in the military, you're what now?
You're a Marine.
So when is a damn politician a politician, Joey?
When they say they are.
But back to your guest here.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Gary Palmer.
Gary Palmer. Did he mention anything about the no pay, no taxes or overtime pay?
Yes, he did. Or no. He mentioned tip. He didn't mention the overtime thing, I don't believe.
He mentioned that one. He forgot about that one.
I guess so.
Teddy Brick mentioned when she came on one time. You know, I just wonder why he missed it. You know.
Well, you know, we need to do this on a regular basis. He mentioned the Social Security thing and the tips thing.
I know, but I would love for Soldier Boy, if you don't mind, sir. Come on, and explain that to us, because you got the information last week you shared with us, and explain it to Joey what you experienced. You know, in regards to this no tax on Social Security. But these politicians, they train to come out here and, you know, tote the line. What's the line of the day? Mm-hmm. I call it an idea. But are you getting tired of the lies, Joey?
What do you mean getting? But also, like, I don't know. I think the lying sort of built in and the fraud sort of built in. Let's just be blunt. The more you expand, we could have kings, Duke, where we don't vote at all. But we've expanded the franchise of voting to where everybody gets to vote. And apparently now the kids need to vote, which is just crazy. I think we could agree on that, letting like a 15-year-old vote. My God.
Now, Joe,
But what happens with that is, like, when you expand like the franchise and it's about elections, you end up with two-party systems. And if you have two-party systems, there's going to be a lot of compromises because you're bringing together diverse groups of people. And so there are people that are single-issue folks who say, I really care about abortion or I care whatever.
Right.
And, okay, as long as that politician does what I want on abortion, right or left, wherever you're coming from on that issue, you're willing to say, well, he got a little rich in office. Everybody gets kind of rich in office. And I don't know. I get tired of the lies. I get tired of the lines as well, and carrying the water and all that. But it's also the nature.
As long as I get a return on my 401k and my stock market stuff, hell, down the rest of what they're saying to us, Joey.
Well, but here, let me add one last thing. But I'm also, and I suppose it's because I've done much of it. It's, in fact, my job to do it. I'm tired of the belly aching about it. Like, it is what it is. And we hope and pray for the best outcome. And I think there are a lot of folks that are out there and nothing's ever good. Like grievance is their their main voice.
So Joe, I got to go here one more time. I've been having fun with this thing.
Yeah.
The reflection pool thing one more time. Can I go there one more time? I know
Sure.
I'm talking about this.
I haven't even kept up with it. What's going on with it now?
But just like that, most people knew that was a lie when we heard the story talking about this man took a damn razor blade out there and just got down in there. He had nothing better to do. Now I almost said a cuss word. He almost this guy didn't have nothing else to do, Joey, but go out there and kill around out there. It's long. How long that thing is, man? How long is it? Approximately what?
How long the reflecting pool is?
Yeah, approximately how long that thing is?
Been a while since I've been around. It's pretty long. Like call it a football field.
Can you imagine a human being out there doing this right there, what he was accused of? Though? Can you imagine somebody doing that, though?
Yeah, I can imagine somebody doing it. I'm not saying he did it. I could imagine it, though.
I'm talking about, you can imagine, because you can imagine a cartoon, like while he kind of older got that thing dropped on the hip, many times, whatever, But, fairy tale.
I can imagine you and I sitting on a beach in Mexico having this conversation.
But you guys were expected to believe that from the get-go, okay? I didn't believe it. I don't believe a lot of other stuff goes on in this White House right there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then the lady came out and said it didn't happen and all that, and somebody got swole up about it, boy, talking about, oh, she's lying. So who's telling the truth, Joey? That's what I wanted to ask you, sir. Now, I tried to get there earlier, but I had to keep on talking. Who's telling the truth about that? Trump said it didn't happen. And she said it didn't happen. Trump said the boy did the stuff, and and Fox News ain't saying nothing much about it anymore. But they was all in at one point. Oh, he showed it. He showed it.
It's kind of like I hear you loud and clear, but it's kind of like you're asking me: is it true that The Rock slept with Stone Cold Steve Austin's wife? And now they're gonna have a big main event fight about it. That's what you're asking.
I'm trying to put you on the spot now because I don't want to piss off some of your people if you say that you don't believe none of it. So I don't want you to piss off these folks. They might not call the show no more now.
No, it's not like I don't believe the front of the house show, but there's a whole very real system with real consequences. And I have to say, since what we have is a two-party system, if we're talking nationally, I prefer the Republicans over the Democrats. Just is that way. It doesn't mean the Republicans are great. And in fact, like a lot of the big problems, neither party is solving.
None of them ain't doing nothing. None of them doing a damn thing. But like I say, that's reason I flip a coin nowadays.
Mm.
Well,
I mean, there are differences. Like the border is sealed, shut.
Yeah, the border fixed it. What about the rest of it? What about I had to pay a damn extra $100 a year on my damn health insurance? What about that, Joey?
Yeah, that's still a big problem.
Hmm?
Yeah, no, healthcare is a big problem. The debt's a big problem. Why we're always at war is a big problem. The cost of everything after that massive inflation since COVID, that's a problem.
We're gonna fix the health care. We're gonna get the money to you. I ain't got a damn quarter yet. Have you gotten yours?
No, because it's just talk. I haven't expected it. Like healthcare.
But he said it though. He said it, and all this doggone followers say, "Oh, whoopee, whoopee, whoopee."
But he's trying to get it done. Dadgummit, he's trying to get it done. And somebody texted me after also Gary Palmer was on. And I just got to say, this is the line, Duke. And both Democrats and Republicans say it. And so stop saying they do outright lie.
All of them.
But here's what they're actually saying. And you can, again, a Republican or a Democrat could say this, say they're in charge, like they're in Congress or they're the president or stumping for the president. We ain't perfect, but we've done some good things. And they were and will be worse than even our average doing all right.
Yeah, that was Gary Palmer said all this stuff ain't got done. Okay?
Yeah, we've done some good stuff. I'm not saying everything's great. We still got $20 burritos. But if you let the others guys back in, even though we're not perfect.
Yeah, I heard that about you let the booger man back in, the sky gonna really fall down this time. That's the reason
But it's not going to fall down. It's just going to be worse. They're worse sinners than me. I'm a sinner. I admit I'm a sinner, but he's a worse sinner. Why are you going to go with the worst?
Worse than me.
Yeah.
He's worse than me.
They mean it too, dude.
Ain't that right, Joey?
That's what it comes down to.
You can't say you're half of a whore or whatever. You're a whore.
Oh, well, okay.
Huh?
So there's no difference between, say, the lady that sleeps with 100 guys in a day and films it, and the lady that tries to just earn an extra buck every month.
They'll get a bill paid, and condos paid, and the nail done, and all that stuff. Don't get me started with that, please.
I'm just saying there are degrees to everything.
I know, but at the end of the day, you still a hoe.
Yeah. I think we all are to a certain degree in this economy.
Yes, sir. But what I'm saying, be a good one though. If you're going,
yeah, just be a good one. Right.
Half stepping carrying on.
Right.
We come out. I don't you ask me for money, but you damn like you ain't the first man you ask for some money. Nah. Shit.
Yeah, don't say that.
All right, man. I'm going for y'all.
Later. Deconstructive politics in real time with those questions. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Sam calling from Pike County.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, man. I heard you mention them $20 burritos, and I was just going to say I had a $1.50 burrito this morning from McDonald's.
What was it?
And well, that's what I was going to say. There was a smell inside of it. It was a lovely tortilla shell with a nice salsa packet and a beautiful bag and napkin full of smell. There was nothing in it. Anyway.
Yeah, no lie. Chipotle, like you want to go to Chipotle, get a big, like say a 700 calorie meal, like 800 calorie meal. It's going to cost you $20.
Yeah. No, man. I'm a Moe's fan.
Yeah, Moe's is great too.
But I just, Joey, I have to live kind of frugal, while I'm getting my life back in order. And, yeah, man, those have turned into kind of rare treats. I hate to say it, but that's just the way that is. Makes me a better cook. Hey, listen.
Thank God for rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, there you go. My cats love it on chicken day. No. I just had a couple of stray thoughts. When I heard Miss Love earlier, because when I think I took from it that they had a piece of property that had unmarked septic tank, and I was just thinking that I had two thoughts. First off, most of downtown Montgomery is a pretty much Superfund site, so it's not classified that. It's completely contaminated. Out where the state highway department on the Northern Boulevard, all that's just contaminated. So having contaminated property, I don't think the city's going to jump on that. But I remember what happened with the Whitehall, the Whitehall community out towards Selma, little riverfront community and little homes, neighborhood. None of them had septic tanks. They just had pipes coming out of the house and raw sewage dumping out on the ground. And they started asking for help. State wouldn't, turn a blind eye. But federal government got them a grant. Took them a couple of years. It was all in the news. I think it was in the 80s when all this happened. But it, like I said, you have to get organized.
Yeah.
And but it has.
Yeah, I didn't have the heart to ask her. Does it stank?
If they get a lawyer and they actually look like they were flim-flam, that's a whole different story. But I'm just, anyways, I was cutting the grass and I had those random thoughts, brother. All right?
Well, I appreciate you sharing the stream of consciousness. Man. It's always good.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
Later. 272-9228. 334-272-9228. Speaking of Chipotle, they had to yank a popular ingredient because of something, well, it's an outbreak. And there's no way to sugarcoat this. It's disgusting. Another nasty foodborne illness is rapidly spreading across the country, sickening 345 people in 27 states so far, as the deadly explosive diarrhea causing cyclosporiasis. The explosive diarrhea causing illness, the outbreak, it's still running rampant. The CDC is monitoring a salmonella outbreak tied to jalapenos sourced from Mexico and supplied by California-based Coast Citrus distributors to restaurants like Chipotle. So they're going to be proactively removing the sullied jalapenos. Colorado and Minnesota represent the majority of cases so far. Looks like we have one case maybe in Alabama. Maybe. Yeah, like one. So it's not like as widespread here. But apparently 36 people have been hospitalized. No deaths have been reported. That would be an awful way to go. So just be careful. Like, you pay $20 for that huge burrito at Chipotle, and it's got some jalapeno in there with salmonella in it. All of a sudden, you know, you got to go to the hospital because you can't stop it. Just coming on out. And we have nothing nice. Dadgum, man. You know, and speaking on this crazy health thing going on, because, you know, they're trying to get all on top of RFK Jr. because of measles and stuff. And I think he makes a good point that it's a global thing, and the United States is actually handling it pretty well. But listen to this from News Nation. Cases of leprosy are on the rise in Florida. Cases of leprosy. Like, that's downright biblical. As of July 23rd, Florida's Department of Health reported 17 cases statewide, with 81% in Central Florida. Last year, Florida had 36 cases, a record high since reporting began in 1992. At least 26 of those cases were contracted in Florida. One was contracted out of the state, and the two were contracted outside the country, where the remaining 7 cases were contracted as unknown. Leprosy is also called Hansen's disease. It's a chronic bacterial infection. It primarily affects the skin, peripheral nerves, the lining of the upper respiratory tract, and the eyes. If left untreated, it can lead to permanent nerve damage, loss of sensation, muscle weakness, deformities of the hands and feet, and even blindness. In some cases, it may take up to 20 years after contact for symptoms to appear, so you could be walking around with leprosy and not even know it. Been to Central Florida lately? But symptoms include lesions, lumps, and ulcers on the skin, along with loss of eyebrows and eyelashes. It can also affect the peripheral nerves, which link the brain and spinal cord to the skin, muscles, and internal organs. This can cause an infected person to lose their sense of touch and pain, meaning they are at an increased likelihood of suffering cuts and burns. And I'm unfortunately looking at photos of this stuff. It's like, that's awful. While leprosy was once believed to be highly contagious, the CDC says it's not easily transmittable between humans. A person would have to be in close, prolonged contact with an infected person and have direct contact with their saliva or mucus from their mouth or nose. So make sure before you make out with somebody that they've at least gotten cleared of their leprosy. Of course, leprosy is considered rare in the U.S., with about 225 people diagnosed every year. Worldwide, there are about 250,000 cases, and most Americans catch the disease while traveling abroad. I guess there are a lot of people swapping spit when they go on vacation. 272-9228. So how are Floridians catching it, though? Because I don't think it's just swapping spit. Health officials say the rise in cases may be associated with 9-banded armadillos. And the underlying bacteria, the Mycobacterium leprae, these animals, 9-banded armadillos, are naturally infected with this particular type of bacteria. The armored mammals are common in Mexico and the southern U.S. and are prevalent in central and northern Florida. They're considered invasive pests as they tear up lawns and damage landscapes through heavy foraging and creating burrows. So not only are they destroying your yard or your farm, they're also giving you leprosy. Again, 9-banded armadillos. People can be exposed to the bacteria by touching or holding armadillos. Oh, goodness gracious. Don't try to make them pets. They are kind of, I'm looking at a photo of one. It is kind of cute, but come on. Disney and so many kids' movies have ruined this. It's like, that's a wild animal. Don't go pick it up, Susie. That's how you get leprosy. They can also be exposed by touching the soil around their burrows or foraging holes. Don't go touching a foraging hole you don't know where it's been, which can be contaminated with bacteria from armadillo droppings or bodily fluid. Gross. Leprosy can be cured if caught and treated early. A patient would have to go through multi-drug therapy consisting of a combination of antibiotics. Once treatment begins, the patient is no longer considered infected. So, like, if you've got something persistent going on, go seek help. Because it can be cured. Well, yeah, that's like, I didn't expect to see that. Because, you know, I was reading about it in the Bible and stuff, but I didn't expect to see an uptick in leprosy in the state of Florida in particular. Daggum armadillos. 272-9228 if you want to get on the conversation. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. Maybe there's one of these 9-banded bacteria-filled armadillos on your property, digging up holes and stuff. I bet you Pest Pro Services can take care of it. They do have wildlife control services, so it doesn't have to be something that crazy. It could be like squirrels in your attic. You want to get it out. It could even be like a little cute chipmunk that's still destroying things. Get rid of it. Of course, any sort of pests, they can take care of their Pest Pro, including insects. And so if you're worried about mosquitoes or fire ants, or it's been way too long since you had the home inspected for termites, you know, and that can be a really expensive venture if you haven't gotten that checked out in a while. Pest Pro Services can help you across the board. And of course, they offer a fantastic basic pest control package. It's a monthly subscription model. That way you control costs throughout the year. And they come out on a regular basis. So you get to know them. They spray around the property. Often don't even have to go inside. And they get the job done well. They've been growing leaps and bounds in the last 5-6 years as a business, which just shows how good they are. You don't get this sort of success without great folks doing great work. And of course, when you call them up at 265-9990, that's 265-9990. Be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. Let's go to line 1 real quick. You're on there. Who's this?
Hola.
Hello, Eric. You ever, you got leprosy?
Leprosy. All my skin is falling off of me.
You make it sound so pleasant. Like it's an Argentinian love song or something.
I'm not half the man I used to be.
Oh no, it's a Beatles cover. Leprosy. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I had a comedian sing that song one time. There's a bunch of other ones that are wildly inappropriate for the radio, but that one is salient to the point. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Another day in paradise, brother. Trying to paint these planes in between raindrops. So,
how
you know how it goes.
Did you work on that bus? How'd that go?
Yeah, we got it painted. Fastest thing I've ever painted in my life. Got that thing sanded and painted in 2 days.
And this is the pink bus for JoJo, folks, and this is to raise awareness about cancer.
Yeah, he still needs help. If you know how to do flooring and stuff, he's about to put flooring in the bus. I might go volunteer. I don't know diddly do hockey about putting floors in, but he needs help. So if you have any of those skills and maybe even a little time to help, I know he'd be super helpful, super grateful. He might buy you dinner or something, but he really is on a budget. So
yeah,
anything any of y'all can do to help, I know he'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it too. He's a good guy.
Absolutely. So you're staying out of trouble? You watching the news at all? You keeping up with everything going on?
No, Joey. I work for a living. I listen to you.
So you get to hear about the diarrhea outbreak and the leprosy outbreak.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I thought we were talking politics for a minute, then I realized you meant it was actually a disease people were catching.
Yes. Yeah.
Thought it was something that was going on bad in the Senate cafeteria over there or something. Thought they might have got into a little. Maybe some of their drugs weren't properly washed before they came across the border. You never can tell.
Yeah, all that
these folks,
goat sacrifice going on up there. You never know.
Well, you know how it is. These folks. It's just politics is it's a game that we got both sides playing one side against the other side. Division is a currency, and somebody else is kicking the can, rattling us, and we're fighting each other, and they're just sitting back collecting the money. You know.
Yeah, well, they're willing to play the game. A lot.
Yeah, with us.
Yeah. Well, we're part of the game. We're kind of the like. Yeah, we got to go deal with the public. Because there's a whole other aspects of the game that we don't even see most of the time.
Well, no, because we're just Rams.
Yeah.
As Beeson likes to say it.
Yeah, Rams.
We're the Rams. They're the Lambs. Or however you want to look at it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I look at this country, and it has been a good summer, actually, for the country. And there's a lot of great things happening in America, and a lot of great, say, personal acts of love going on. And I don't even mean that in a romantic way, though. A lot of that going on, too.
Well, you know.
But, the politics, you just look at it and you shake your head. Like, so many promises. And yet a lot of the same problems just stick around.
Well, of course. It's easy to send other people's kids to war. It's easy when you get to look at a bottom line and make decisions, based on your checkbook. When you ain't the one's going to have to cut the check, So.
Well, and also, again, I don't think you necessarily have to black pill or despair is another word for it. That there are differences. Like, it's just the nature of the beast. So, I genuinely believe, as bad as you could make a case like against the Republicans, that they're probably going to head in a direction, at least to my liking, compared to the Democrats, just generally speaking. Now, I try to maintain that no matter who takes over the levers of power, that I'll be all right. Even if, they murder me in the town square, I'll be all right. But
I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right. There's a greater kingdom to come. That's actually already at hand. So, but if I had to choose, I'm still going with the GOP for just all sorts of reasons.
Well, me too. But, when we get together and kill a few beers and tell stories and laugh about our individual lives and forget these guys that just make piss poor decisions all the time.
Well, just, if you start to get lesions all over your body, go to the doctor and get your leprosy cured, man.
I heard you find my local politician and begin immediate, consistent, contingent support so I can spread the love.
No, if you do contract leprosy before you go see the doctor, go make out with a politician.
All right, brother.
Later. 272-9228, 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dylan Rings. And if you go to their Facebook page today, folks, that's just Dylan Rings, DYLAN Rings on the Book of Faces. Ooh, you hear that sound? That is a video of Josh working on a piece. And this Saturday is Wear Your Mother's Jewelry Day. And, of course, every day is a good day to bring some of these old school pieces back to life. So if you got a broken clasp, need resizing, stones loose, or ready for full redesign so you'd actually wear it all the time, well, Josh the Jeweler, ready to work. And, again, if you go to the Facebook page, you can see the up-close video of the very detailed work, soldering work, I believe he's doing right there. Really cool stuff. So check out Dylan Rings today. We can tell you more about him a little later in the program, but just stop by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway, and be sure to tell him Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of healthcare you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients, from making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly to getting to know you and your family's needs and following up on any questions you may have. Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Man, everything costs more these days. Yep. That's why we need people like Rhett Marcus. He cut $1.5 billion in taxes.
Wait, $1.5 billion? That's a big deal. Didn't President Trump and Senator Katie Britt endorse him?
Uh-huh, they sure did.
Sounds like Rhett's the right man for Alabama.
I'll be voting for him on August 11th.
Mm-hmm, me too.
I'm Rhett Marcus, the Trump-endorsed candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rhett for Alabama.
Maybe you're doing well in sales, but you're ready for something bigger. At Blue Water Broadcasting, you'll help local businesses grow with customized marketing campaigns that combine the reach of 7 radio stations with powerful digital solutions. We're looking for someone who enjoys meeting people, earning their trust, and delivering results. If you're driven, professional, and ready to build a career, not just another sales job, we should talk. Visit BlueWaterBroadcasting.com and send me your resume today. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Not much change in our forecast, except the numbers are starting to go up again. Today, mostly sunny with a high temperature up to about 94 and the heat index between 100 and 105. Low tonight down to about 74. And I think we'll be near 94 again tomorrow and also on Saturday with those routine rain chances, scattered random hit or miss, afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms for a few towns. But you know the deal. Many towns get skipped, and not much change in the forecast on Sunday either. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark. Joey Clark. Joey Clark. Joey Clark. You're listening to Joey Clark.
You know, that's how you really know you love somebody. When you know they got leprosy and you still want to kiss them. Let's go to Mike. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm all right.
Hey, I wanted to, I'm a first-time caller, and I just couldn't let this go. But you're talking about all these diseases that are showing up that we hadn't heard of in 50, 75, and 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my question is, when you let 15 to 20 million people move into your country all in 3 or 4 years, from a lot of third world countries. How do you know some of them people aren't carrying some of that stuff? You know, when you have a baby in this country, they give him a series of shots. He turns 1 year old, you take him back and you get another series of shots. He turns 4 years old and he gets another series of shots. A lot of them third world countries don't do that. You know, I had a Latino show me just the other day on a cell phone where they had killed 10 armadillos. They all were sitting up on a grill and they were going to eat them.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You know, a lot
especially
of
like
these-
we just covered with the leprosy thing, like somebody could have it latent and it's not even apparent. And not,
Well,
like
sure,
there's
when-
to your point, even like say there are a lot of leprosy cases around the world, not in the United States. So if you're letting in a bunch of populations from all over the world, yeah, you're running this risk on that and, many other things.
It's not only letting in, you know, I mean, how can I say this nicely? It's not your desirable people. It's not your doctors, your lawyers, your engineers. These are all 20-year-olds that have been in jail, got tattoos all over them, just everything. And I would imagine that this country is going to start seeing a whole lot more chicken pox and typhoon and just all sorts of stuff that we eradicated many years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope not, but this is the problem with having a wide open border. One of the many
Sure it is.
problems, and I think a lot of problems are downstream from. You know, I'm a pretty open-minded guy. I actually think America needs a pretty generous legal immigration system that's more based on merit. To your point about people with some great skills that'll be great Americans, and you can find them
Right.
all over the world. But when it's just
Yeah, and-
open door, and yes, you bring in some folks who are just the poorest of the poor, and folks
Right.
who are caught up in all sorts of other worse things, like letting people out of
Yeah.
prisons and mental institutions.
Right.
It's
and
crazy.
And it is crazy. And some of them people don't even have clean water. I mean, they're drinking out of rivers, you know? And you just can't tell me that a lot of them aren't carrying stuff that that we've eradicated 75 years ago.
Well, and
That's just
I
that's
guess
just a dumb boy's opinion.
we'll have to do it again.
And I'm too. I'm not against people coming to this country, but it certainly has to be better than just hopping trains and swimming rivers and walking through deserts.
Well, and it also sounds like there are a lot of those armadillos that have made their way across the southern United States, like the
sure
literal
there is.
animals. And yep.
Yeah,
there
and
we go.
here we would not eat them because we just wouldn't. They're unclean and unhealthy. But a lot of the people that came here, they eat them regular.
It's like people that like, oh, let's plant some kudzu. Isn't it lovely? No, it's
Yeah,
not.
and they look good sitting up on the grill, but I certainly wouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
just me.
though
But
I think both
it-
you and I could be tricked, Mike, if we didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, and I would be mad too. All right. Well, I just wanted to call. I hadn't heard anybody say that you know, about these diseases being brought back to our country and woken back up. And if that's the case, then we did that to our own self.
Well, appreciate the call, man. Thanks for calling.
All right, take care.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. So we've talked about eating bear today, cooking up armadillo on the grill, typhoon possibly coming back. Oh, it was typhus. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, we take a lot of stuff for granted because the people before us, the generations, the Americans before us, solved a lot of issues. And people always tell me, like, just leave the country for a while. You'll be happy to be back in the United States. But, you know, just got to be vigilant and not have insane policies that I think are driven less by the love of humanity and more by, well, cynical socialist ploys to upend the though imperfect bastion of liberty and freedom in the world. By the way, ran across a great quote by a fellow named John Steinbeck. You ever heard of him? I think he wrote a book called Grapes of Wrath and some other things. And actually, I don't think Steinbeck was like your most hardcore capitalist fella. I could be wrong about that. But this is a heck of a quote. I think it's accurate about Americans. He says, socialism never took root in America because the poor see themselves not as exploited proletariat, but as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. That's the right mentality. And again, I think more of these problems are solved. The practical problems are downstream from issues of the spirit. There are people that have a lot of money and they're very poor. If that makes any sense. And I'm not just talking about, am I happy? Am I content? I mean, they are captured by something that is not under their control. And they are hollow underneath all the stuff they have. And there are folks who are broke, but they're all right. In fact, some of the happiest people you'll meet. And often it's the folks that have the right mindset, even though they're not doing as great. And you could talk about somebody like in 2026, but think of your grandparents and your great-grandparents and the beginnings they had. And everybody was kind of in that situation. But with the right mindset, even though you're pretty poor, you can do quite well for yourself and your family. And you don't necessarily have to figure that out by deciding who to vote for. Now, I think one of the more obvious ways people gain upward mobility in this country, and you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a loyal employee to a company where there is the potential to rise up the ranks. But speaking of rising up the ranks, I think one of the greatest things for folks who came from, say, humble beginnings, and I think of my own family, this is you join the military and you serve. And I think there are a lot of people that not only change their own lives, but change generations' lives by doing that. So that should always be a consideration. Anyway, I've been going on and on about it enough. 272-9228. 334-272-9228. But I like that line. Socialism never took root in America because the poor see themselves not as an exploited proletariat, but as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. And that's what's so funny. So many of the socialists in America are millionaires and billionaires. The very people Bernie Sanders and so many of the socialists love to dog cuss. Really, they're just dogging out their friends. It is much more, and it always has been, an elite phenomenon than something that is naturally coming up from working class people, especially in the United States of America. Now, Europe and Russia and stuff, you get this whole idea of peasants, and so there might be some more organic resentment built up, especially when it's like not just a couple generations, but 10 or 20 generations of having that sort of caste system. But especially in America, the idea that most of what the working class yearns for is sort of this revolutionary socialism is nonsense. They maybe want a fair shot. They don't want to be taken advantage of. They might even say, hey, workers have rights, but that doesn't mean you jump fully into socialism. And most of the folks that do want to experiment and jump fully into socialism, they're worth more than the very people they're lecturing. They're worth a hell of a lot more than the very people they're claiming to help. And when you see the effects, what you usually end up with is a, say, select elite class that in the name of creating equality accrues more and more unequal power and privilege over the rest of the population. And yet their mantra continues to be, fairness and equity and equality for all. But we'll see. I'm not too worried about the rise of socialism in the country. Maybe I should be. But I'm not that worried. But I think actually J.D. Vance, the vice president, hit the nail on the head on this in a recent interview where he was talking to Laura Ingraham. And this socialist push is not, your agrarian farmer for the most part. Now, I'm sure there are some socialist farmers, don't get me wrong. But that's not where this push in 2026 is coming from. It's coming from, well, listen to the vice president.
A lot of young Americans were sold a whole promise at the elite universities in our country. And that promise is that they were going to be able to go to college, get a degree, and everything was going to work out fine for them. I think in reality, actually, a lot of universities sold these kids a bill of goods. They gave them a lot of debt. They did not give them useful skills or a useful credential. And a lot of these kids are very angry. But that really is, if you look at the data, Laura, the base of the Democratic Party today is downwardly mobile, hyper-progressive, well-educated people. People, I think, who were sold a bill of goods by universities have a lot of debt, but not a good job to show for it.
Yeah. It's just a different time. Doesn't mean those folks don't vote and aren't influential and might convince a bunch of folks who feel like, have good reason to say I'm not getting a fair deal and things are too expensive and we're always at war. That's the main way you get socialism, is if you don't solve actual problems, to where people are so frustrated with you not solving actual problems that they'll go for the folks that, well, don't just want to solve the problem, but flip the entire game board over. And we've been ripe for that for a while. What do you think Trump's about? Come on. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m. Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Accurate, immediate, carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
This whole hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. So maybe it's time to buy a new place. Well, they can walk you through that home buying process, and it's a process that starts with a very important first step, pre-approval. That way you know actually how much home you can afford, how much you can finance. And, of course, they're going to get you a pre-approval that's actually worth something. Don't waste your time with online mortgage calculators. They're going to lead you astray. You're not going to get the correct number. But a pre-approval from Alabama Home Mortgage helps you shop with confidence instead of guessing. And then that way sellers will take you much more seriously, and you're not setting yourself up for heartbreak, falling in love with a house you can't afford. And, of course, Alabama Home Mortgage will walk with you every step of the way, all the way to closing day, from pre-approval to closing day. When you're looking to buy a home, and especially for you first-time home buyers, I can't think of anybody better than Alabama Home Mortgage. And Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon there at Alabama Home Mortgage. But, of course, maybe you already own a home. You have a lot of equity built up. And so they can do a refinance deal for you. That way you can get debt off your back, restructure debt, or reinvest in your property, shore up a retirement fund, or go on that dream vacation or any other thing you want to use your money for. They can help you out there at Alabama Home Mortgage. And of course, they specialize in helping veterans. A lot of folks think a lot of parts of the VA system are broken, and that's true, but not the VA mortgage. It remains one of the strongest home financing options available, offering benefits like no down payment purchases and 100% cash out refinances. So y'all check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. You can always call them direct at 567-4223. That's 567-4223, or you can visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Somebody with a weed eater right outside the walls of the studio. You know, the other day I was driving through the neighborhood and I saw somebody's grandmother with a weed eater. And I thought, well, Granny's got a weed whacker. Thought I'd just share that thought. Granny's got a weed whacker.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Israeli military says 2 soldiers have died in an explosion in southern Lebanon. Israeli forces launching strikes in southern Lebanon on Wednesday, accusing Hezbollah of violating a ceasefire. This week, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said that Israeli forces will not withdraw from their current lines in Gaza unless Hamas has completely disarmed. North Korea launching a short-range ballistic missile toward the sea. The launch comes just days before the U.S. and South Korea begin annual military drills. Senate Homeland Security Committee Chairman Rand Paul told colleagues Dr. Anthony Fauci withholding answers to questions held by his committee and Americans who lived through the pandemic. The committee voting to hold Fauci in contempt of Congress and refer him to the Justice Department. This is SRN News.
Full speed into summer, and if you're thinking about buying a home this year, here's what you need to do first. Get pre-qualified. Not once you found the house, now before you even start looking. Here's why. In this market, houses sell in days, sometimes hours. The buyers who win aren't the ones with the highest offer. They're the ones already approved, ready to move, with a lender who can actually close. If you're not pre-qualified, you're a week behind. Maybe that house is gone. Well, I want to tell you about Fellowship Home Loans. For over 20 years, my friends Mike and Brian, guys that I've worked with, they've built Fellowship around one thing, getting loans done for real families with unique situations. They use programs and options that typical lenders don't take the time to explore. Down payment solutions that fit the way people actually live. Everything's done in-house, one roof, one team, all with a servant-led mentality. Get pre-qualified today. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G or call 800-510-MIKE. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 81938.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland.
Win a BMW X7 or your share of $25,000 in free play during Victoryland Casino's BMW and $25,000 free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Not much change in our forecast, except the numbers are starting to go up again. Today, mostly sunny with a high temperature up to about 94 and the heat index between 100 and 105. Low tonight down to about 74. And I think we'll be near 94 again tomorrow and also on Saturday with those routine rain chances, scattered random hit or miss, afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms for a few towns. But you know the deal. Many towns get skipped, and not much change in the forecast on Sunday either. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits in the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
1819 News.
A multi-state group of concerned citizens are now calling for the release of an 18-year-old illegal alien from Honduras who was detained by ICE after a traffic stop in Albertville last year. Elder Carranza was cited for speeding and driving without a license before ICE verified that he was also in the country illegally. 17-year-old Carranza was a junior at Asbury High School at the time. Supporters say he was granted special immigrant juvenile status and should be released. Abundant Grace United Methodist Church held a vigil this past Wednesday night in Boaz, with supporters coming in by way of Zoom to call for the release of Carranza. Carranza remains in ICE custody in Louisiana while challenging his detention. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
School administrators at Pell City High School are planning to fight a recent decision against their football program coming from the Alabama High School Athletic Association. The AHSAA board recently ruled that the school would still be penalized for violating recruitment regulations. That penalty involves the head football coach being suspended from the job for a year and the football team ineligible to play any postseason games. The Pell City Athletic Director, Dr. Harley Lamy, told WVTM News that the Board of Education voted this week and will appeal this decision to the AHSAA's Central Board of Control. I'm Andrea Thomas.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space. What's up, Earthling? I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field. That's right, man. My question is, why have you landed here on our planet? I came to see David Ernest, the asset preservationist. Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me. Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233. And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe. That is correct. Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth. What was that? I went to the Walmart, man. Yes? And I accidentally went in the back door. How did that work out? Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in. And then what did you do? I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter. You flew millions of miles just for that. Hey, man, I don't ride them. I just read them.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy? I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh, really? Don't even play.
Shut up, silly woman.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now let's do something a little different. I found this clip from, it's not well followed, but it's New St. Andrews College with think is in Moscow, Idaho. But it's this clip about it's their music camp, and they're talking about how Americans need to take pride in singing again. Now you might think, what is that? That's the sort of mentality that's bringing us down. Every time a man wants to sing loud and proud in public, you start thinking he's into fruity, funny business and stuff. That's the sort of negativity we can't allow anymore. Like, we need to start singing together again, folks. But let's listen in on this, because it's in particular about singing the national anthem together.
Normally we end, and that's rousing to do that, but we're going to end with the Star Spangled Banner. And a quick word while we're getting ready to do that. I can't pass the opportunity on this little soapbox. America is no longer a singing people. And if you watched the World Cup, it was much better than usual. But there are countries where, man, when their national anthem comes up, they sing. Actually, sometimes I'm not sure they're singing. I think they're shouting. We'll aim for singing. This is something we need to recover. This celebration is a biblical-esque celebration in being thankful for what God has given us and being grateful for our heritage, warts and all. And that's not a popular thing today. Tear it down, rename it, right? But we need to sing our songs. We are a melting pot, but we do have a musical history. We do have a history. As messy as that is, it's a strange family tree. It's very different from most other countries. But we have a heritage. And when we polled most of the children this week, the majority of them didn't know any of the audience songs that we sang. They don't know My Country 'Tis of Thee. They don't know Oh Beautiful for Spacious Skies. We don't sing these things, and it's okay. They're not idolatrous. They can become, as anything can, but they're our songs. And if we want to take pride in our country, we'll do that. I think that starts nowhere else with the Star Spangled Banner. So we're going to sing, but beyond singing here, and I think it's going to be a glorious end, when you are next at the baseball game, whether it's a high school game or you go out to Seattle and see a professional game or a football game, sing the national anthem. And if you're the only one in your section singing it, so be it. Maybe next time there'll be 5 people in your section singing it. And maybe we'll return to the day when it's led by an orchestra or a recording of it so we can sing it as an anthem to be sung by people and not one soloist behind a mic making all sorts of vocal gyrations. Perhaps very skillfully, perhaps not. But that is not sing-along music. It's been transported into a different thing, and you can't sing along. We need to reclaim that, and we ought to sing it. So we're going to sing it, and as I told them, lest we forget, and we're as prone to that as Israel on every other page of the Old Testament, lest we forget, the words were penned when America was at war, someone wanting to conquer us. And it was, is the flag still there? Because if it's not, it means we lost the battle, because they won the victory. That's what it was penned for. So remember that. We'll sing heartily and sing beautifully as best you can. And other than getting our pitch set here, we will not need any instruments this time. We will be a singing people.
Maybe sing along in the car. Nobody's judging. Join in.
So let's close in honor of the great gifts that God has given us over the past 250 years.
Whose first eyes and
And again, this is New St. Andrews College out in Moscow, Idaho. So, maybe if you got some young kids and you're looking for a great Christian education, check it out. They're small, but I've run across some of their material of late, and, I can be ecumenical. I don't think they're Catholic, but I think they are brothers and sisters in Christ for sure. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. So back to the news. Let's check out 1819 News real quick locally here. It is trending that Coach Tuberville, soon to be Governor Tuberville, Coach is saying that he's asking, not demanding, he's asking Alabama Power to freeze its rates further into the future, in particular because of public concern regarding the impact of data centers on household energy costs. The utility company's rates are currently frozen but are set to be unfrozen at the end of 2027. On Thursday, Coach discussed the issue during a call with reporters. It's been a hot topic, he said. And people in Alabama, they're concerned about data centers and causing their energy bills to go up. I completely agree with them. I'm calling on Alabama Power to freeze rates further into the future. It's their responsibility, and we want energy to be more affordable in our state. Tuberville went on to say, we have to realize that data centers help with this. They don't hurt. They actually add a lot of energy in some places if we do it right. But at the end of the day, all utility providers need to be held accountable as we move forward, all providers that do energy in our state. So simply put, the key to freezing rates for Alabamians and providing affordable energy is further development of data centers across the state. We have to do this. Tuberville went on to say, if a data center wants to come to our state, they're going to need to provide most of their own energy, and they're going to have to invest in the communities that they're in. That's huge. We're going to need to end the practice of giving these big tax breaks to data centers. They don't need that. They have plenty of money. And if a data center wants to come to Alabama, they need to sell us and not the other way around. Well, that's the spirit, Coach. For the past several years, data centers have been able to do whatever they want to do. Those days are coming to an end. Tuberville added, people need to understand that data centers can be a huge asset to our state and the communities that they're in. But we're going to make sure that the people who live in the communities with these data centers are the people who are going to benefit from the taxes. Well, that's the spirit. And also, I think him responding to, real concerns in the public. Of course, still going to push it through. And, there are examples. Doug Burgum, the Secretary of the Interior, likes to point out what he did in North Dakota as governor there. There are instances where, yes, you end up producing more power, even more water. It can be done in a way that, benefits everybody in the area. Now, there are opposite examples of that. Don't get me wrong. So, moving from Coach, current Senator Tuberville, to the other senator. That's a fierce photo. They got her on. She does not look happy in that photo. United States Senator Katie Britt. The headline reads, detained and sent home for good. Britt legislation would close, quote-unquote, loophole, allowing release of illegal aliens from detention centers into American communities. The 2001 ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed thousands of illegal aliens to be released into American communities without proper vetting. Most unauthorized foreigners, according to this case, are required to be discharged from detention centers after 6 months if no country has accepted them for deportations. On Thursday, U.S. Senator Katie Britt led the introduction of Keep Our Communities Safe Act of 2026, a bill designed to address the issue. America is a nation of laws. And if you violate our laws and are subject to removal from the United States, you should remain in detention until the point of deportation. This case created a legal loophole that forces the release of aliens into our communities after 6 months simply because no country has agreed to take them back. This bill would help to close the loophole once and for all. U.S. Senator Tuberville also signed on to the legislation. Specifically, the bill would amend Section 236 of the Immigration and Nationality Act which governs the apprehension and detention of aliens, to expand the Department of Homeland Security's authority to detain criminal aliens, deny bond to criminal aliens, and generally limit the availability of bond unless an alien can establish by clear and convincing evidence that they're not a flight risk or a risk to another person or the community. This loophole was obviously exploited a great deal in the Biden administration, and what we're doing is making sure that we are putting forth legislation that closes it once and for all, Britt told Fox News Digital. Additionally, it would amend Section 241 of the INA, which governs the removal of aliens, to allow extensions of detention in a number of cases, including those where an alien is a threat to national security or has committed an aggravated felony or a crime of violence. Yeah, it'd probably be dumb to let out somebody who did something very violent or an aggravated felony just because the clock ran out at the detention center because, oh, shocking. Wait, the guy who's like assaulted people? You're saying no country wants him? I guess we got to let him back out into America. Like, that's crazy. Crazy. So, that's what the two senators are at least up to today. We also have the Speaker of the House, Nathaniel Ledbetter. Oh, watch out. That guy might be governor one day. Like, he's stronger than you might think. But Speaker Ledbetter is celebrating a bill that requires a copy of the Ten Commandments to be displayed in the state's history classroom, as well as in entryway or other common areas such as the cafeteria or school library and schools serving 5th through 12th grade. The legislation was sponsored by State Senator Keith Kelly and carried in the House by State Representative Mark Gidley. It requires each local board of education in the state to display the Ten Commandments along with a context statement in each history classroom serving students in grades 5 through 12. The display would have to be donated or purchased with donated funds. Per the legislation, the commandments would also have to be displayed in the common area of each school that serves only 5th grade students or above. Getting this bill across the finish line last session was a major win for the people of Alabama, Ledbetter wrote in a social media post. The bill states, quote, "The Ten Commandments are a key part of the Judeo-Christian religious and moral tradition that shaped Western civilization and ultimately the founding of the United States. In particular, because they include what John Quincy Adams described as both civil and municipal provisions, as well as moral and religious provisions, the Ten Commandments have historical significance as one of the foundations of our legal system. Teaching students about the Ten Commandments promotes historical understanding and helps to foster a common cultural heritage and awareness. To fund the displays without the cost being passed on to local boards of education, the bill says that they may accept donated funds or purchase the displays or may accept donated displays to comply with law. America is built on faith, and Alabama's Christian values are the foundation of our state. We won't ever shy away from that," says Ledbetter. 272-9228. I think it's progress of a kind. Now, the trick is getting them to read it. And not just have it written on the wall, but actually written in people's hearts. That's the part where, I mean, it's really up to God to do that. To write it on people's hearts with his grace. But, it's wise of us to cooperate. And cooperate in love. And that's an interesting way to look at the Ten Commandments. That much of the first half is about loving God, and the next part is about loving your neighbor. And so, it sums up the law is essentially love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, and strength, soul as well. Everything you got. Love the Lord your God, who is one. There's only one Lord your God. And love your neighbor as yourself. Or, in fact, try to love your neighbor with that love that God gives to you. Because where we keep sinning, more grace abounds. And it's quite a great deal for us if we would just cooperate. That's the thing. People that get up in arms about this basic idea, I don't understand what your problem is. Like this idea that you have to denude public institutions and public spaces, especially the places where kids are going to spend the majority of their childhood, that you have to denude these public spaces of any sort of religious element, especially something as fundamental as the Ten Commandments. It seems a little silly to be upset about that. But it also seems that this law was crafted in particular. There's a reason the cutoff's at 5th grade, because they don't want to hear a court argument that you're indoctrinating some really impressionable kid. I guess when the kid turns 10, he can outsmart you a little bit. We hope. They also don't want it to be public dollars that are necessarily funding it. They don't want that argument, thus the donation element of this. But, you know, there are a lot of folks saying, well, what about the overtime tax? Fair enough. But that ain't a bad thing, folks. Like I keep saying, I think if we solve the problems of the spirit, a lot of practical problems, I mean, they'll all be solved in a day or even ever, but it gives you a certain perspective, doesn't it? But if you figure out the spiritual problems, in fact, a lot of your practical problems will be solved, or figure out ways to solve them one way or the other. 272-9228. Again, if you want to get on the conversation, that's 334-272-9228. I don't know how many of y'all were singing the Star Spangled Banner, but I think it should have been more of you. Driving down some country road in your truck. Sing, dadgummit. Sing. So there's this guy who just, El Sayed or whatever his name is. Abdul El Sayed. He just got nominated by Democrats, won a primary election for Senate in Michigan. And so immediately, some senators, GOP senators, called in front of their committee. I believe this is the Homeland Security Committee. And this is Ted Cruz. He lies, holds the Bible high, and he lies. And now Ted's a friend of mine. And I think his dad might have been the Zodiac killer or helped kill JFK. I'm not sure, but he's a friend of mine now, even after I said all those things about him. Anyway, this is Ted Cruz. He brought in a counterterrorism expert, is what they're saying. His name is Kyle Scheidler. Scheidler. Shidler. I think it's Scheidler, not Shiddler, because that sounds way too close to something else. But I'm sure he had maybe he got tired of being terrorized as a child with a last name like that. But Kyle Scheidler being asked by Ted Cruz about this recent guy. He might be the next senator from Michigan. Let's listen into this.
Does Abdul El Sayed's candidacy for senator in Michigan concern you?
Yes, sir, it does.
Why is that?
Well, to begin with, I look at the connections that his father-in-law, Chakaku Tayyib, has to Brotherhood-linked groups. This includes being the president at one time of CARE Michigan, also his presence on the Islamic Society of North America Founders Committee, which is only for those most exclusively devoted to ISNA and provides significant amounts of funding. There are other known Brotherhood members on that committee. I would also look at El Sayed's ties to a group called Mgage, which purports to be a Muslim sort of get out the vote or candidate recruitment organization, but it has close ties to CARE. It was created by a former CARE member who at one time was on a terror watch list and was also a consultant to convicted terrorist Samuel Arian.
Do you believe the Islamic Society of North America, or ISNA, is an ongoing part of the Muslim Brotherhood network in the United States?
Yes, sir, I do. There were some HLF documents that reflected hesitation by the Brotherhood that they thought perhaps they were losing control of ISNA at one point, but they appear to have rectified that. As far as I can tell, there are still individuals associated with the Muslim Brotherhood who are in high leadership positions with that organization, and they have never repudiated their ties to the organization.
But that guy just got elected by Democrats to be their nominee, so that's great. It's kind of amazing, actually. Kind of amazing. And you know, a few days before Charlie Kirk was shot, like 3 days before, I believe, He had something like this to say. Now, I am mostly sticking on, like, we can have religious freedom in this country. But if people are going to talk about, like, Islam, my main focus on it is it's just not true. It's false. People should change their mind. But here is Charlie Kirk saying, well, a few days before he was murdered in public, what a lot of people believe.
Islam is not compatible with Western civilization. Islam is at odds with all the freedoms that we enjoy. They do not believe in any separation between mosque and state. They do not believe in freedom of speech or freedom of expression. They do not believe in the freedom to criticize the government. The practices that we enjoy so great here in the United States of America. And here's the one thing that's the kicker. You have this axis, again, the red-green axis, this Marxism-Mohammedanism axis. What do they have in common? Even though a lot of the Marxists are lesbians or gays or transgenders, they get along with the Muslims. They get along because they hate us. They hate the West and they hate the United States of America. Islam.
Yeah, it's perhaps, and this can be overstated because hate and, well, that line between good and evil runs through every human heart. We're all sinners, folks. But it might very well be those the loudest to accuse somebody of being hateful are, in fact, the hateful ones themselves. That when you talk about, this debate we played earlier in the week at Oxford Union, should the West be suspicious of Islam? Well, it certainly seems like Islam's suspicious of the West. And the coalition you just heard Charlie Kirk name there, it seemed to be suspicious of a lot of their fellow Americans. Suspicious that a lot of their fellow Americans are just hateful bigots who for some reason just want to go after their coalition. And it's almost like the plan is to let suspicion sow suspicion and hate sow hate. And let the chips fall where they may, and we'll decide this with political power. Sounds like a pretty crappy idea to me. Anyway, 272-9228. We'll see what Michigan decides in the upcoming election. I believe it's a guy who I haven't been a big fan of for a long time because he was big on the spy surveillance systems. But you know what? That ship has sailed. They're spying on us, baby. What are we going to do about it? We yelled and screamed. Edward Snowden tried to tell you about it. A lot of people before Snowden tried to tell you about it. William Binney, Thomas Drake, a lot of whistleblowers. You're being spied on. They know more about you than you know about yourself. Everything you do is being surveilled. They're now doing surveillance pricing. And Mike Rogers was, well, he was a big part of being mad when Edward Snowden started to leak what the capabilities of the U.S. intelligence community. But when you got a guy that is his current opponent, I think there are going to be a lot of folks go, well, maybe Mike Rogers is all right. Yeah, but on the whole surveillance and spying thing, they do with metadata and all sorts of other techniques know more about you than you know about yourself. But what are you going to do about it? Suppose you could say, well, they don't know as much about me as God knows about me and about them. Anyway, we'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
When you're hiring, Have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
WAKA Blue Water Broadcasting, Ty and Doll Incorporated, and Piggly Wiggly Food for Less invite you to help us stuff the truck on Saturday, August 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sturbridge Piggly Wiggly Food for Less. Donate non-perishable food, classroom supplies, or cash to help local students facing food insecurity and support our teachers. Visit WAKA.com for a shopping list and stop by our community resource fair for valuable services and information for River Region families. Together, we can stuff the truck and strengthen our community.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hey, y'all, it's Lewis over here at the Capital Oyster Bar. We're located on that beautiful Alabama River over here at the Montgomery Marina. I'll tell you, if you don't know, we have a boat launch down here. You can come down here and launch your boat and get down here in the river. We also rent out pontoon boats. All you need is a driver's license, a credit card, a little common sense. You can have a good time on the river down here. It's not far up the river. There's a sandbar with a rope swing. You can take the kids up there and spend the day, have a little picnic, and have a good time. You know, also, we got an RV park down here. We started selling propane, so we got gasoline for your boat, propane for your RV. We got a bathhouse, laundromat, and everything for the RV guests. So check it all out at CapitalOysterBar.com. First, you'll see the menu, the good food we got down here. We got a great crew, puts out some good food, and they'll serve you well. And also, you'll see a map how to get here and all the information you need to know. There's no show this week, but come on down here anyway and eat you some good food. We're going to have a good time. Don't forget, we close at 7 o'clock every night, so get down here before 7 o'clock, and we'll get you fed, and you can have a good time down here. So come on down here soon, come hungry, and bring the whole family with you.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The chances of encountering one of those evening showers or storms is very small, but not zero. Tonight, very muggy again. The overnight low temperature falls to about 74. Tomorrow and Saturday, almost a carbon copy. Mostly sunny with a high temperature up to about 94 on Friday and Saturday, and the heat index 100 to 105 easy. With those routine random, scattered, hit or miss, afternoon and evening showers and storms. But it's like playing the lottery. It's feast or famine. Not much change in the forecast on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Let's go to Kyle. Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, how you doing?
Life's all right.
Good. Hey, I was thinking maybe we need to pass a law that you had to be a natural-born citizen before you can be in Congress. You know, you have to be one to be president, but you don't have to be one to be an elected official. Maybe that's the law we need to visit.
Yeah, you'd have to, I think, amend the Constitution to do that one.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth it, though. I mean, it's ours. We need to protect it, you know? And I'm not saying that would eliminate all of the shenanigans in the Congress or anything, but that'd go a long way, I think.
Or at least say something like 10, 15, you have to be a naturalized citizen for at least over 10, 15 years. Something like that. Like you've been here a long time. Now that, I'm open to interpretations, and I get the spirit of what you're saying, though.
But I mean, you know, the reasoning is, or the thinking is, if you were born here, then you have national pride here, and you want to protect. You know, you want to protect what you have.
Well, the irony just hit me, though, that there are some folks that are first generation, just got here, and they frickin' love America, and it's the 10th generation blue hair progressive in upstate Massachusetts that just hates America.
Oh, well, that's true.
That sucks.
True. Yeah, so we are in a conundrum at this point.
Yeah, it's like we need more good God-fearing people in general. I don't know, because it is astounding. Like, you do have literal legacy families, like, that go back to the Puritans, and they're the ones driving the car on. It's almost like they're trying to make up for the so-called sins of their ancestors at everybody else's expense. Oh, yay.
And you notice all of those people in those families have that look on their face like they smelled something bad.
Like they're just told their trust fund daughter has leprosy or something. Like, oh no. I guess they were in Central Florida. Yeah.
Have a good one, man.
Appreciate it, Kyle. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Now, I want to go to something I didn't even know was going on. Now, I know there's surveillance. And at this point, you were warned by a lot of people for a lot of years that the government and corporate America, like all sorts of big players and institutions, are collecting all sorts of information on you to the degree that they know things you clearly don't know about yourself. And honestly, I don't know if a good solution is like the data that's collected on you should be available to at least you. Like, what's the dossier, the digital dossier you got on me? What did the AI cook up? So I at least know what y'all are saying about me, and I can maybe try to correct the record. Or it could be, hey, give me a licensing fee on all this data that you collected on me, however many times it's bought and sold by different folks using the information. Give the people a cut. That idea's been out there. But now there's this thing called surveillance pricing, which, I've heard of pricing in you're running an Uber or a Lyft and there's a big sports event or a big rock concert. Of course, the prices are going to go up to get to the stadium. That's no surprise there. But, this aspect of what Senator Hawley goes on about, and I don't know, he really wants to be president so bad. Do you think Josh Hawley's going to be president, folks? I don't know. He's got a good, deep voice. He gives a good sermon. He's smart. I don't know. It's just how much he wants to be president that's off-putting. But all these senators up there, so ambitious. But here's Hawley talking about an issue I had not known this level of detail about. Let's listen to.
Is one of the biggest scams in American history. This marriage between the AI industry and these mega corporations. And they're trying to pull it off against every American consumer. AI surveillance pricing is the unholy trinity of everything Americans hate: spying on people, ripping them off, and taking away jobs. Let me just talk about each of those briefly in turn. First, spying on people. Did you know that your neighborhood grocery store is amassing your data and tracking your purchases, all for their profit? For example, Take Kroger. Kroger is not just a grocery store, though it is certainly that, one of the largest. It is a data-selling mega corporation. Kroger's loyalty program has a treasure trove of data on you if you're one of their customers. One Kroger customer got a copy of his shopping profile recently. You want to guess how long it was? 62 pages. 62 pages of personalized data on this one person based on his shopping history. Last year, Kroger earned over $500 million from selling the data that it harvests from its loyal customers and giving it to other corporations. You know, that accounts for 33% of its net income last year. A third of its income came from selling the personal data of its own customers. Let me just say that again. Kroger made $500 million by tracking its customers in store and online and then selling that to other people. Second, ripping off consumers. You know, AI weaponizes your data against you for profit, and I'll give you an example. On Delta's second quarter 2025 earnings call, Delta's former president, Glenn Hamstein, revealed its partnership, Delta's that is, with an outfit called Fetcher, which is a company that specializes in AI surveillance pricing. Now, after that earnings call, Bloomberg uncovered a Fetcher white paper that describes using AI with airlines to replace simple, flat fares with a complicated pricing scheme that will vary the fare based on what they believe individual customers are willing to pay. Fetcher went on, this company, to say that it's time for the airlines to enter an exploitation phase of AI technology. Think about that. These companies are salivating at the prospect of using AI technology and your personal data to exploit you, and they're not even pretending otherwise. Finally, taking away jobs. You know, this practice of surveillance pricing is making its way to brick and mortar stores. It's not just online. Here's an example of that. Kroger and Walmart and other retailers are rapidly introducing digital shelf labels all across their stores. We'll give you an example over my shoulder here of a picture. Here's a digital shelf label. These are appearing everywhere across the United States. These labels can be used, because they can be changed instantaneously, they can be used to implement AI surveillance pricing in the store, not just online. Now, of course, this will end up costing jobs in the store, certainly, but think about where all of this is heading. Delta's former president, I mentioned a moment ago, really put it best when he said that the goal of the industry, the goal of all of these industries, these mega corporations and the AI industry that's working with them, the goal is to charge what they call personalized prices, you know, as if it's a benefit to you. Personalized prices. Here's what he said. This is a full re-engineering of how we price and how we will be pricing in the future. We will have a price that's available on that flight, on that time, to you, the individual. Let me just translate. In other words, they're going to figure out how they can rip you off one person at a time. They're not going to charge you the same fare they charge your neighbor. They're not going to charge you the same fare as the guy sitting next to you in the seat. They're going to figure out how they can bilk you out of every dime they're willing to pay every time you step on an airline. And it's not just going to be them. It's going to be the grocery stores and everybody else until we figure out how to bring transparency, how to bring honesty, and some protections to the American consumer.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. By the way, I just saw up on Fox Business.
This is one of the big...
Yeah, thank you, Josh Hawley. We heard you. I just saw up on Fox Business. The Wall Street Journal thinks the Clarity Act, which would be a market structure bill that essentially allow the crypto industry to play right alongside the big boys, not give them an advantage, but play alongside the big banks with this brand new technology. And the Wall Street Journal says, well, Trump, it's embarrassing Trump's deals in the crypto world, benefiting him and all his friends. That's from the Wall Street Journal editorial board. Hey, Wall Street Journal editorial board, how many of your friends are in the big banks, you assholes? Everybody has an interest. Everybody's got an angle. at that high of a level, when we're talking about the technology of money itself, don't kid yourself. Somebody's getting a little bit of an advantage over others. The problem is the big banks have had a massive advantage for a long time, and they deserve competition. But because they're the banks, they know how to grind to a halt a very, very good idea. And even if it's inevitable, which initially they said, no, it would be terrible. It's, we never want any of this. You remember Jamie Dimon talking down about Bitcoin. Now they're all for it, but they want to make sure they still have the prime position in all this. Well, Donald Trump's corrupt, and y'all aren't. That gummit, move. Finally get something done for once. Anyway. 272-9228. It's 334-272-9228. Yeah, I don't like the digital surveillance thing. Like the pricing, like digital price tags and all sorts of stuff like that. Well, but it's heading there. Like it's a gas station. Want to get a drink? And I'm sure y'all have seen some of these checkout kiosks where, unless you're getting some nicotine behind the counter, so I'm sure one of these days they'll figure out a way to where nobody even has to work in the store, where you just like put your items, you got a bag of chips and like soda or something, you throw it on this thing that looks like a dystopian future, and it scans your items and gets the exact right price, and then you just pay with, a tap of a card or something. Like no human beings necessary other than you. And I suspect we're going to get to a point where you just walk around and you just take stuff and that gets charged to your account. There won't even be a central clearing point. It'll just be like, yeah, come take this or that. Why I keep saying the one thing the machines can't do is pray. Well, what good will that do? Oh, no, I'm not you. That's between you and God. But if you discount that aspect of life, given the way things are going technologically in this country, as well as many other fronts, perhaps you should take it more seriously. 272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's old Skeeter, man.
Hey,
How
Skeeter.
you doing, Joey?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I just want to, this is real easy to Google. Somebody told me one day all Donald Trump's doing is enriching his billionaire buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And all the billionaires were behind Donald Trump. So I Googled it. Over 100 billionaires donated to the DNC in 2024.
Yes. And they're usually the ones financing the socialists who demonize the billionaires.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 50 donated to the RNC.
Yep.
But I just wanted to get that out there, brother.
I
Thank
appreciate you
man.
getting it out there. It's a good point. Thank you, man. Got to hit this break. First, though, this part of the program brought to you by Dylan Rings. And they're at Dylan Rings. Josh and Leslie Ryder are ready to help you out with any and all of your jewelry needs. Could be need something repaired. They can fix it. Could be you want to do something custom design like this pendant hanging around my neck. They can do that, and he can do it beautifully. Josh is very easy to work with. Josh, a jeweler, true artist, but a great guy, too. And it could be you want to clean something up. Maybe it's a piece of jewelry you love, you've been wearing every day for years, and it looks like you've been doing that. What if it could shine and shimmer like it's brand new again? Well, they can do that there for you at Dylan Rings. They also have a great inventory from high-end, one-of-a-kind pieces to everyday items that are fun and not going to break the bank, or maybe like a starter set for somebody, like a little one in your life. Yeah, across the board. Any and all jewelry needs, they can help you at Dylan Rings. So check them out today. Get by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. It's sort of like you're going to the back end entrance of AUM off of Atlanta Highway. But you don't go to AUM. You don't go past the soccer fields. Just look to your left after you make that turn. 119 Brown Springs Road in that little shopping center there. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here are several ways to attract more buyers to your home. First, price it right to sell, not to sit. An accurate market analysis will tell you what price it should be. Next, prepare the home to show and sell by deep cleaning by a professional cleaner, including carpet. Declutter all rooms, including closets. Evaluate flooring, replace if needed. Paint inside and out where needed, and make the kitchen and bath sparkle. How about the exterior? Are the colors faded on the shutters or fascia? Power washing them and all sidewalks and driveways and patios prior to listing the house. Remember, your price and curb appeal will create a showing appointment. Your condition of the house will make them stay and look longer and buy quicker. For all the steps you need to take to get your house ready for sale, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 334-221-2883 or 334-551-0225.
We didn't say it. You did. Guests keep telling us Epicure and Jack's Tavern serves the best steak around. Wet-aged in-house. Hand-cut. Perfectly cooked. When people talk, we listen, and we keep doing what we do best. We invite you to come experience the difference for yourself soon. Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Come taste what everyone's talking about.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Oh, no, folks, I didn't get to the story that Miss North Carolina, USA, was dethroned after the Miss USA organization condemns her racism, homophobia, and transphobia. She said the N-word a lot online, apparently, for years. The thing is, she's Honduran. And it was it wasn't the hard ER, let's be honest. And I'm just saying that, yeah, she used the N-word a lot. But looking at her, Brittany Boltonhouse, looking at her and the way she used that online, I have a feeling, well, at least most black men wouldn't mind. Let's go to line one and talk to Ray Bowles. Ray, how are you doing?
All minorities can say the N-word. I got David in the trunk.
No, I was trying to do it like I see the tweets and I'm like, well, that's crass, but I'm like, really, who's actually offended by that?
Yeah, honestly, one of my closest friends is Gus Mack. Anybody knows Gus? Love him to death. And he's a bail bondsman downtown Prattville. And me and him became buddies because him and Ron were close friends. And when Ron flew him up to Alaska after he moved up there, because they were missing each other, he said that Gus got him in more trouble because every time he saw another black guy, he pointed and said, "There's one there."
Oh, my God.
And I was like, "Stop it, Gus, stop it."
My God.
But he's very liberal, and I'm very conservative, and we have really good conversations, deep conversations. And you know what we do when we're done?
What?
We hug each other's neck, we tell each other we love each other, and we call each other the next day.
There you go.
And that's the way we should be in this world, even though we don't agree politically. Who cares? If we like each other, we hang out and do stuff together, who cares if we agree or disagree, right?
Amen, brother.
But that's just my thought for the day.
Amen.
That's just my thought for the day. I don't understand why we can't talk about stuff, disagree on stuff, and the next day go right back to doing what we normally do.
And we all just get along.
Just get along. Just get along.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, I wish David and Chad would just get along.
And Chad get along great.
It's you and Petra that don't get along. But hey, if y'all need a floor, call us at 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that free measurement. And next thing you know, you got a new floor down. Just that simple.
Yeah, that's 285-8117. And be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with that Joey Clark fella.
Guys, have a great day.
Appreciate you, Ray. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, she went by the name on X, Sosa the Stallion. And, I mean, there might be some very snooty people upset about this. Like, you know, the chicks with Richards that run the pageant industry. But I just got a feeling there ain't a lot of black guys to be having a problem with her saying all this stuff. I mean, I just telling the truth. Not saying it's for wholesome reasons. Maybe she shouldn't say that word. And maybe they shouldn't like her for those reasons. Maybe they should actually fall in love with somebody's, you know, like soul, like love and beauty that comes from the inside. Just, that's not how the world is right now. Anyway, maybe we shouldn't even have pageants. Oh, they don't sponsor the show. As good as a beauty pageant anymore these days. Anyway, Friday's tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A Senate committee votes in favor of holding former NIH Director Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress for refusing to testify about the origins of the COVID virus. President Trump says an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz is imminent, but U.S. officials insist that Washington will not accept Iranian control over access to the strait. A new Tennessee congressional map making its electoral debut Thursday in a primary election that will determine the nominees for Republican attempt at a clean sweep of the state's U.S. House districts in the midterms. In health news, the Food and Drug Administration approving a new flu vaccine. The shot by Moderna is called